if we think of our mindset, strategy, and our tactics as a little funnel that kind of goes down like this, we would say your mindset is the driver of everything. So your mindset sets the pace for everything to come. So you could have the best strategy in the world, excuse me, best strategy in the world, but if you don't have the mindset behind it to give you the confidence, the belief in yourself, the belief that you can do it, you could have world-class information in the strategy and the tactics, and you won't be able to deliver or won't be able to take action on that. When you do hear, our mental game is 90% of the game, or some places, 99%, right? And I think it gets a little bit, misinterpreted that if I just think better, I play better, because the scale to mental game to skill sets. There's one of the top sports psychologists, Dr. Rick Jensen. He kind of explains it best, right? He explains it where think of mental game to skills as a sliding scale. So if you're looking at the top players in the world, like LPGA, PGA Tour players, they have the best strategy and tactics in the world. So then their mindset covers most of it, right? 99% mindset and mental game that kind of prevents them from going. But you take somebody that is playing golf for the first time, right? We're going to say you can believe all you want that you're going to get it in the hole, but if you don't have that skill set and you've never swung it, skills becomes the big bulk. So it might be 99% skills with a 1% mental game, right? So it's kind of this sliding scale of the actual results. But as we look at it in this funnel, right, your mindset doesn't get you to play better, but it drives all of the actions, right? So in this illustration, we're going to say like your mindset covers most of it, and not in terms of you like think better, I'm going to hit it in the hole, or think I'm going to hit it in the center of the club face, and I will. But your mindset drives your actions to then, give you the strategy and execute the strategy that you're looking for. So if we have our strategy is going to be where it's going to be like overview, right? If my mindset is what's getting me confidence to like actually learn something, be open, consider a different view, our strategy is going to be closer to the technical side. So for example, if we go to that putting example that kind of blew my mind 5 years ago when I met one of these golf strategists and kind of just explained more theory behind it, right? I knew a ton of like how to swing the putter, how to make the putter roll, how to hit in the center of the club face, what like the putting swing should look like depending on like your posture and all this kind of stuff, because that's kind of what my background was, right? I trained in learning the golf swing and learning how to play in the early parts, right? Learning the more tactical approach. But the strategy is like the big overview, right? The strategy of putting would be like, think about putting as the goal of putting is to hit it into the hole, right? If you never understand like that overview, it doesn't matter like what you're working on and how to swing it, you'll find you just won't understand how to play the game, right? And I'll share with you a kind of funny story. We had a student in the past, a few years ago, and we just took it for granted that we knew everybody knew that to play golf, you got to hit it in the lowest shots possible, right? So he comes and plays with us for the first time, and we take him on the course, and we play from these abbreviated tees. But I can't remember exactly what he shot, but I want to say his first round he played, and it's from just off the edge of the green, 25 yards. He must have shot, I think, in the upper 40s, 48, 49-ish for the first time on the golf course. And it's like, wow, that's pretty good for his first time, right? And it comes down to like 2 or 3 weeks later on his second 9 holes that he's playing with us. He goes on, he's putting it better in class, and he gets out and he turns in his card and he shoots, I want to say it was like 70 or 68 or 70. shots for 9 holes, and we're like, holy smokes, what just happened, right? Because, you know, in class, he puts it closest to the hole all the time. He hits the targets, he gets it in, and he just didn't quite, we never explained to him the strategy of playing the game. And he came from every other sports where the highest score wins the game. And, you know, we hear people joking all the time, but it's never really happened to us that we joke, yeah, you want to get lower and, you know, versus higher and everything else. But he actually thought making it in more shots was how you win the game. And when he gets it close, right, how much control he has his ball before he actually hits it into the hole. So just kind of getting it closer and closer without actually hitting it in. And that was a skill that he was trying to develop. And so when we look back at strategy, the strategy of just putting the ball or playing golf is like, you got to get the ball in the hole first. It doesn't matter if you misinterpret that part, then it doesn't matter all like the swing drills or how to hit it far and putting it and getting the tactical stuff, right? It needs to align with your strategy. If your strategy is, you know, to hit the ball further to lower your score, then that's going to be the driving force behind like the things that you're going to do. So strategy, think of it as like overview, looking upwards down at a high level on just what am I trying to accomplish and what's the goal that I'm trying to get here, right? And once we have the strategy, then I'll put it in a different color here. Way at the bottom is where we drive in our tactics. That is the swing drills that we're doing, right? Well, get your posture, hold the club a certain way, take it back right here. Make sure you swing the club in this direction. Make sure you rotate your back. All of that little swing drills that everybody's telling us, that is the tactics, right? That's the how-to, the actual step-by-step on what you're gonna have to do. Turn the club face this way. Your club face is pointing that way, right? Take your putter and swing it closer to the ground in this manner. Make it look like this kind of arc. And so when we look at it, that all of the how-to, the swing drills, everything that advice that we typically think to give are always like in this tactical side. And so one of the biggest things as we get into this category is most of us, I don't want to say all of us, but most of us like dive into like, I just want to learn how to do it. But we forget that, does it fit into the strategy of what I'm trying to achieve overall? And also, do I even have the mindset to make sure I can push this strategy and commit to this thing all the way through? So then all I'm doing is rotating the tactics to get to the strategy. My mindset's going to keep everything here where, and keep it pushing down where, you know, it doesn't matter what happens. I understand the strategy and then I'm changing the tactics instead of saying like, well, it doesn't work today and probably won't work for me. That's kind of where I was with putting, right? I kind of just gave up and just, well, I just settled with what my putting was. And it's just, well, I'm just not going to make that many putts and I'll get lucky sometimes and shoot really low scores, but won't be on purpose, right? And having that mindset, push it away where I just, you know, forget about the strategies, work just a few things on my tactics to just keep me in play. And so think about like this little mindset, strategy, and tactical approach this way, because you need all three to get yourself going. And a lot of times you're just searching for what's missing, right? Oftentimes we might have like in that, you know, initial story where it was working on my wedges and I'm trying to gain like my distance control for my approach wedges. And it was more of a mindset thing that I stuck to the strategy. I did all the tactics, but I didn't want to believe that it would be my clubs, right? As much as I've talked to people, seen videos here saying like, make sure your clubs are clean, make sure you have sharp grooves, make sure this, like it never clicked to me. And it says like, no, that's just like a little cover. Like my mind was telling me that, yes, it would help, but it doesn't mean I can't do it. If I can do it with my strategy and tactics, then my equipment helps, right? It will take me to another level. And I had that belief. And the moment I shifted that, he's like, you know what? It might be my clubs. It's probably my clubs. I'm going to go buy a new wedge, right? And it was like like immediate the moment I got that wedge in it. And it was like night and day, and I couldn't believe what happened, right? And other times, working on, my driver, right? I had the mindset, right? I knew like I just want to hit it further, and I worked so hard and put in all the time. There was nothing that was gonna pull me away because I knew, one, if I hit it further, it would help me shoot lower scores. But two, I guess something I always wanted to do, right? I always wanted to hit it further. And I always wanted to hit it far. Growing up, we weren't very big, but we found ways to hit it far. And around most of our peers, like I hit it pretty far, but there was like the select few, like a couple of people that were actually the people that were better than me always hit it further than me, right? So I'm always chasing like, oh, if I just hit it further too, right? Every single person that I couldn't beat always hit it further than me. All right, so that mindset was in. So I was like strong, and I was like, there's no ways I'm gonna figure out how to hit it solid. People smaller than me are hitting it further than me, right? And with what I knew, with the strategy that I knew all the tactics on like how can I make it go faster? How can I, create different shapes? How can I hit it further? But I just had the wrong strategy, right? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't have the wrong strategy. I had the right strategy on how to launch it, how to get the speed up, and how to keep the spin down, make the ball shape a certain way. I just didn't know for myself what the right tactics were. I was using like old swing drills that I had, or old swing things that got me to where I'm at. And the moment I learned other swing tips and swing maneuvers and how to actually leverage clubs faster in like totally like wild motions, that I be able to implement some of the and get closer to the strategies and hit some of the goals that I wanted to hit in my driving distance, right? And then the opposite would be going back to that putting example where, I always wanted to I had a really good mindset. I wanted to putt, and it took me years before I just said I'm going to settle. But in the meantime, I had like, I want to putt good. I was going through every single like putting tip, grip change, cross hand, split grip. I mean, pace of my swing, everything you can imagine from people that are actually performing well using those things. And just my strategy was wrong, right? 5 years ago, I met strategists, blew my mind open with a concept of putting. And then now every tactic that I do, every swing drill I do reflects directly back to the strategy. The most common thing that we all do when we get stuck, no matter what, is we always go to tactics. We always go to the swing drill. We always look for the one little swing tip that's going to be that magic swing tip that, transforms our entire game. And yes, they come along from time to time, and we do get them. But what we'll find out is that one magic tactical move, swing tip that you get never lasts forever. So they may get you through the day, may get you through the week, the month. But if you don't understand like this stuff here, the mindset and the strategy and how it drives you to the tactics. So when you do the tactical stuff, it's in alignment with all of this stuff, your strategy and your mindset, right? Then you're never confused on what swing tips, tactical move that you should be working on. And, far too often I see players dive directly into like, how am I swinging? Can you watch my swing? What am I doing? Before even asking like, this is what I'm actually trying to do. Like this, I want my ball to do this, as opposed to, can you watch me hit this one? Right. And my question is like, what am I looking for? What are you trying to do? Can you see if I'm coming like this on my swing, or taking it back like this, right? If I don't know what the strategic like purpose is of what they're trying to do, doesn't matter what they're doing here, I'm not going to be able to help them. And if they don't know, if I'm not able to help them from the outside because I don't know, and if they don't know, then 100% they're not going to be able to help themselves with any kind of tactical advice, because they'll never be in alignment. And if they do find something, it's going to be luckily in alignment. But then the moment it wears off after a day, a month, we've all had those. Like, I want to feel this, I take it back here, and it works, right? And you come back the next day, oh, I want to just do this, and all of a sudden that one thing that made the most sense is no longer there, right? And that's kind of the whole part of like, we dive into tactics far too early. So most common thing is, we default to this, right? Default to one of these things. Make sure our mindset's strong. Make sure we're on the same page of what we want to do. Make sure we have the right strategy, and then we search for the tactics that are in line. Hey guys, Aki here, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, two little favors. One, share with somebody else, and two, subscribe below so you get notifications on every time we post a new video. You guys all can do this. You guys all can get the mindset, the strategies, and the skills to create the momentum you guys want to achieving your most successful and fulfilling golf of your guys' lives.